Why don't we talk about the Martin thing? That was fun.
Kabrhel?
I think it was April of 24. I'm in a casino, and all of a sudden Martin comes up and taps me on the shoulder. And he's like, do you want to go play heads up? And so I said, like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I was bullshitting around in like a stupid 10-20 game. And so we go open a table. He wants to play like 100, 200. If you know Martin, like his preferred stake is at least one stake above what you want to play.
That's right.
So we play that first night, and I lose small, like 25K or something. Second night, I lose small. Third night, I lose a bit bigger. And just to give context over what we're playing heads up, 100, 200, where he's auto-straddling to 4. And we're playing bounties. For those of you who played 7-deuce, 7-deuce is 16 combos. We were playing 7-deuce, 7-3, 8-deuce, 8-3 for a total of 64 bounty combos, heads up. $5,000 penalty if you lose to one of those hands. So 7-deuce game on steroids, basically, is what we were playing.
Jesus.
And this was like basically an escalating thing from like, first it was 7-deuce, then it was 7-3, then it was 8-deuce. If you know Martin, he's pressing constantly. So it's like, it got to the point where the action was so insane that if I was going to play the fourth day, I knew that I needed to bring a lot of money. I was down like 150 to him already. I lost small over 3 sessions. And like the fourth day, he's like, I want to raise the stakes. So he wants to basically play 200, 400, but he's auto-straddling to 8. Okay? So this is now like a huge game. And I'm spending the whole day basically like trying to sell off action so that I can go play him, because I'm like, well, I love playing with Martin, and this is a spot where like I think he thinks he's gonna put me into a position that I'm uncomfortable in. But I also know I've got pretty decent balls, and like I can fight back against this. So like, let's
Nick Howard, decent balls.
So I basically wanted to play one more session, and his style is basically just constantly big timing you. I mean, the joke on the table is like, they got to the point where he trolls us for playing with black chips even. Like, it's just like you won't come to the table, there's a black chip on the table. So we played this last night after I spend most of the day selling action. And it was kind of funny trying to sell, because like everybody was basically like, dude, I don't know if you can handle this heat. And I was like, dude, just trust me, I can handle this heat. I just need to sell off a little bit. So I sell off like 10 minutes before the session starts. He won't mind if I say, but the last guy I sell to is Berkey. And Berkey didn't want to take the action because he's like, I don't like the fact that Martin's auto-straddling. I'm like, dude, you told me you're going to take it earlier today. I'm not even letting you get off right now because it's going to kill the fucking game. You're on. And I just basically told him, like, I'm not taking you off. Which could have been its own controversy, but he's just like, basically, I know Berkey well enough. He's like, okay, like whatever. So now Berkey's on against his will, and we're playing like probably the biggest match of the year over at Aria. I start off, I think, down 40 or 50, and then I make a score, and I got 100 in front of me. And with the bounty game, it's like, you got to understand how fast this thing moves. It's like every hand is, I would say average pot size in this game was 40, 50K, Jesus. Heads up. So we're tossing a bunch of $250,000 pots across the table. It's just, it's fast. And I think what I realized in that match, I made a smart decision to tell him that like I'm only playing for 3 or 4 hours, because what Martin will do is he will try to push you beyond the point where he thinks you're comfortable playing. And like, to be honest, I didn't want to be in a situation where I was up huge and then like forced to play on, because there's a huge risk. There's a risk premium that occurs, and like he's just going to keep putting you in the coffin, basically. So long story short, I was down small in this last session, and then I get pumped up, and I got about $250,000 in front of me. So maybe I'm up like 200, and we get in this pot with about an hour left to play, where I'm already just kind of like feeling good. Like I was at a time where I was trying to stay on schedule, and I'm trying to go to bed at like 10:30. So like it's 9:45, and I'm like, Martin, just so you know, we said we're playing till 10. I'm going to bed at like 10:30. And at that point, he's like, I need you to stay till 11. And so we make a compromise. And so now I'm there for like, I know I'm there for like another hour and 15 minutes.
Please.
Okay.
Come on, Nick. Till 11. What are you, baby? Baby, 10 p.m. bedtime?
And so now you have to understand the way the game is playing is it's 200, 400, and he auto straddles to 8. And if I complete the straddle by making it 800, he auto makes it 10K with every hand. That's his strategy. And so I have to make a decision like where if I have even like ace deuce or like a hand that like is clearly a call for 400, in my head I'm like, if I play this hand, I'm playing this hand for 10 grand. So I'm kind of just playing really tight at this point because I'm like up 150 or something, and I'm just like, I'd rather go read the kids a book in like 30 minutes if I could choose. I'd rather not play a $500,000 pot. So he makes it 800, and I decide to call with ace king, which is like a weird thing to do in heads up.
You know, it's coming auto
He knows he's
10K.
gonna make it
But
10,000.
you know the auto 10K is coming, right? So he makes it 10. And
Now tell us that you're a pussy.
I call.
Decent
Yep.
balls.
There you go.
Decent balls.
Decent
Not great
balls.
balls. Not great balls. Decent balls.
They're decent.
They're all right.
They're all a little misshapen. Not exactly equal.
Does shave him.
Just so it's clear, I guess what I'm saying is it's a super pussy move at face value, but like in my head I was like, let's just pot control and play above what we look like we have because
Wow, you just aioli'd the shit out of that mayonnaise. Like, it sounds like a pussy move, but what I really did was I just called so the pot would be smaller.
all right, it was a pussy move. Queen 10 8 2 hearts. Check, he bets 10K, I call. Gin, offsuit jack. Check, he checks. So it's queen jack 10 8.
Nine's a straight, but ace king is the nuts.
Whatever it is, there's the river brings queen jack 10 8x. So like the 9 makes the straight on the river, maybe that's how it went. There's a 1 card straight on the board by the river. Pot is 40,000. We have $250,000 in front of us, and I'm just like, well, I'll make a big bet because who knows what the fuck he has, but there's a straight on board. He's never folding a 9, so whatever. I bet 90,000 into 40, and I'm looking at him. And he's thinking really hard. And I look at the dealer. You know who it fucking was? It was, who's the one we love? Who's constantly narrating?
Clyde?
Clyde was
Clyde the snack.
Clyde,
attack?
snack attack, Gaskins.
So Clyde's dealing this hand. And
Oh my
I'm
God, he
looking
must
at
have been
Clyde.
pissing himself. Holy shit.
So I'm
Was
looking
he narrating these hands?
he was still dead silent. Way too much in the pot for him to feel comfortable narrating, I think.
This is a big snack.
So I bet 90, and I'm looking at Martin, and I'm sitting here like, dude, I have the stone cold nuts. Like, this is a complete dream spot. Like, what's even going on? Like, and he's got his hand over his mouth like this, and all of a sudden I just hear all in. And he pulls up, and I look at Clyde, and I'm like, and I look at him. I make the call with a stack. I push the stack over center, and I look at Martin, and he just goes, bluff. And that was the turning point of, I think, the whole session, because after that, everything became a manic, degenerate mess, and there was phone calls being made in another language to get more money on site. And what I realized about it was that in order to play a guy like Martin, you have to have like a very strong boundary around just handling the pressure of the situation, because I think the edge he has is he can push you beyond what you thought you were going to, like the exposure level that you were comfortable with. Like he's so good at pressuring you to just keep raising the stakes, and he has so much money that it's just like, you got to be careful what you agree to, I guess. So like after that pot, it was like he had run out of money. And I texted some of our friends, and I was like, would you loan Martin 100? And they're like, he's always paid us. So I loan him 100 across the table. So now he's playing with my money. He loses that. So now I'm up like 600K on the session. And he's got more people bringing in money. They're bringing in bags of fucking money. Who knows where they're even coming from? There's like these people that are just, they just got these pawns that show up with like these bags of money, and it's coming from different casinos. So now there's like this compliance issues in play. We're playing with other chips on the table.
There's resorts.
We're playing with like 4 different types of chips, and then finally it's 10:30, and I'm like, Martin, I said I had to leave, and he's pissed. But I told you I had to leave at this time, and so he stands up from the table and he walks out of the room and he's screaming in check, Republic, whatever this language. What is
Czechish.
Czechish. And so I kind of feel bad because he's down a ton, and then he comes back in and he looks at me and he says, "You played really well tonight." And that was the moment where I gained a lot of respect for Martin as a competitor, because like very few people lose 700,000, 700,000, and then come up to me like, you played really well. Congratulations. Like it takes some candor. To
Not on the same day, that's for sure. They might tell you the next day or 2 years later.
And so that was it. I mean, that was the match.